Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired a high-level meeting with members of the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister in order to review India's economic outlook and deliberate on strategies in order to sustain strong growth amid rising global uncertainty. And the discussions came at a time when the global economy is facing heightened volatility due to the geopolitical tensions, disruptions in energy supplies and continuing uncertainty in international trade and financial markets. The meeting centered on assessing both the immediate risk and long-term opportunities for India in an increasingly unstable global environment. Members of the Advisory Council shared detailed perspectives on current macroeconomic conditions, noting that while India continues to remain one of the fastest growing major economies, external shocks remain a key concern. Issues such as fluctuating crude oil prices, potential supply chain disruptions, inflationary pressures and uneven global demand were highlighted as factors that could influence India's growth trajectory in the coming months. A major focus of the discussion was the ongoing instability in West Asia and its possible implications for global energy markets. The escalating tensions involving the United States and Iran, including reported military actions and heightened naval activity near the Strait of Hormuz, were examined in detail. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the world's most critical energy corridors through which a significant portion of global crude oil and liquefied natural gas shipments pass. And any disruption in this region has the potential to trigger sharp spikes in global oil prices and affect energy security across importing nations, including India. Participants noted that recent developments, including drone interceptions and retaliatory strikes on radar installations in the region, have added a new layer of uncertainty to an already fragile geopolitical situation. And all these developments have raised concerns about maritime security, insurance costs for shipping, and the stability of global supply routes. And the Council discussed how such risk could translate into imported inflation for India, particularly through higher fuel and commodity prices, which could in turn affect transportation costs and overall economic stability. And beyond external risk, the meeting also focused on domestic policy measures that could help India strengthen its economic foundations. The Prime Minister and Council members are exploring a range of reform ideas that is aimed at improving the ease of living for citizens and enhancing the ease of doing business for enterprises. And all these included measures to simplify regulatory compliance, improve administrative efficiency, expand digital governance systems, and accelerate infrastructure development. The broader objective was to ensure that India remains resilient to external shocks while continuing to build internal capacity for the sustained growth. Council members emphasized the significance of boosting domestic demand, increasing productivity, and encouraging private investment as key drivers of long-term economic expansion. They also discussed the need for continued fiscal prudence, stable monetary conditions and targeted policy interventions in order to support vulnerable sectors in case global conditions worsen. The significance of maintaining macroeconomic stability while pursuing high growth was repeatedly highlighted during the deliberations. And the Prime Minister in his remarks underlined the significance of economic self-reliance, particularly in critical sectors such as energy, manufacturing and technology. He reiterated that global uncertainties, especially those arising from geopolitical conflicts and supply chain disruptions, reinforce the need for India to reduce excessive dependence on external sources. He pointed to ongoing efforts to strengthen domestic manufacturing capacity, expand renewable energy infrastructure, and enhance investments in nuclear and alternative energy sources as part of India's long-term strategy in order to improve energy security. He also emphasized that India's growth strategy must remain inclusive and sustainable, ensuring that economic progress translates into improved living standards for all the sections of society. And in this context, reforms aimed at improving public service delivery, reducing bureaucratic delays, and enhancing transparency in governance were seen as an essential components of the broader economic agenda. The discussion also touched upon recent public appeals made by Prime Minister encouraging citizens to adopt more resource-efficient habits in the face of global uncertainty. And all these included calls for reduced fuel consumption, increased use of public transportation, carpooling, and greater adoption of electric mobility wherever feasible. He also encouraged citizens to support domestic products and practices that promote sustainability and reduce dependence on imported resources, particularly during periods of global volatility. And as the meeting progressed, there was a shared recognition that the global economic environment is likely to remain uncertain in the near term, shaped by geopolitical tensions, shifting trade alignments, and energy market instability. However, there was also a strong sense of confidence in India's underlying economic resilience driven by robust domestic demand, a strong services sector, ongoing infrastructure expansion and consistent policy reforms over the past several years. And the meeting concluded with a broad consensus that India must continue to pursue a balanced approach, one that combines structural reforms, prudent economic management and proactive risk mitigation. And the focus, as reiterated by both the Prime Minister and the members of the Advisory Council, remains on sustaining high growth, ensuring stability and preparing the economy to effectively navigate an increasingly complex and uncertain global landscape while advancing long-term development goals. That's all for now. Stay tuned to the Savera for more updates. Do like, comment and subscribe to the channel.